we need to imbibe divine virtues so that we change from humans to deities. But I was just thinking, let alone godly virtues or divine virtues, but do we even have human values these days? Because you see that if you look at the state of the world, we are living in a world where even humanity is dead. So here we are studying to be divine, but I remember there was this topic, human values, divine virtues and godly virtues. So first let us think about, human values. So you see, first human value is, a deity would be characterized by giving to everyone, relentlessly giving. A deity is a giver. But even human values tell you that at least give and take. That means at least reciprocate to the one who gives you. Yes, but we are not talking about being a giver to the whole world, or we are not talking about being a giver to somebody who doesn't treat us well when we talk about human values. But even when we talk about humanity, we have this idea that at least reciprocate to someone who does something for you, or who gives something to you. But do we have even that? Because if you look around, people are not adhering to this law of reciprocity. And these days, people only want things, free. That somebody should give and give, and I should take and take. So I have to check for myself whether I am really reciprocating the respect and the love and the cooperation and the support that I'm getting from human beings. Because you see, many a times we see that we are receiving a lot from someone, and then that someone is the recipient for our disrespect and our violence and many other things. And I was deeply, it set me thinking about these things when I saw somebody who was taking classes, but they were beating up their maid. So their house help who was coming to their place, so that person was being very ill treated by that person, and that person was taking classes also. So I was just thinking, you see, there's such a big discrepancy between what we understand and what we do, or what we hear and what we do. And we need to correct these things. So at least, being respectful and, any kind of abuse, whether it is physical abuse, whether it is emotional abuse, financial abuse, or verbal abuse. So, any kind of abuse is not okay. But sometimes you see that even with children who are listening to knowledge, we see that things are pretty abusive. So if you look deeply, so you don't tend to talk about these things, but then you have to, isn't it? Because how can you become a Brahmin or a deity without even having these basic human values? And I think, Baba helps us also to develop human values, because you see, um, we we live in a world where we were not reciprocated well. So we live in a world where you did something for somebody and then they just left with everything you did for them, and they never returned, or they never returned the favor. And then what happens is you tend to pick on that sanskar. So we have this very interesting habit of copying sanskars. So what happens is that when you do something for somebody and then that is not reciprocated, then in the next time what you do is you stop reciprocating to the person who does something for you. And this is a very interesting law that if you hold anybody in your awareness, if you hold any human being in your awareness, and if that human being is not behaving appropriately, but you are holding them in your awareness, you are remembering them, then you tend to copy those sanskars which you hate in the first place. So those very sanskars that hurt you, that you didn't like, you tend to copy that. And you see, there's this system where every mother-in-law is becoming like their mother-in-law. Why? Because you don't like what she does to you, but what you're thinking is all day you're just thinking about how she ill-treated you and how she behaved with you. And then because you become as you think, so you are also changing into your mother-in-law slowly. So if you look at this phenomena, then what's happening in the world is that ever since we came to Baba, maybe there's some shift, but earlier we were just keeping human beings in our awareness, and those very sanskars which hurt us or which made us feel betrayed or which made us feel sorrow and anger, we start copying those very sanskars. And what happens is we also start turning to those same people that hurt us or that caused us sorrow. Now, when we come to Baba, we have to shift our sanskars to even, full of human values. Now, human value is give and take. Now, divine value is give, give and give, or godly value is give, give and give, but human value is give and take. Now, you see, first start with give and take with Baba. So, you see that in the world we cannot say that be very fair with human beings and stuff, because sometimes human beings, they tend to, because they are limited by their own sanskars, they will tend to leave you unreciprocated, and they will not fulfill your expectations and leave you disappointed. But then how do you develop this sanskar of give and take? You develop this sanskar with Baba. So you see that Baba is a constant giver, but and you see Baba, or if you look at the divine family that we get at this time, the Brahmin family. So these two pillars, Baba and the Brahmin family, we receive constant support from these two pillars. We receive the support of knowledge, of love, of acceptance, of cooperation, of encouragement, everything we receive. But if we do not reciprocate with the yajna, if we do not reciprocate to Baba, if we do not give the return of the palna that we receive, either by becoming what Baba wants us to become. Why has Baba come here? Baba has come here to change us from humans to deities. Why is Baba spending so much of time and energy and education on us? Baba is teaching us so much. So the first aspect of reciprocation is we at least imbibe what Baba tells us and we become what Baba wants us to become. This is the first level of reciprocity that we need to show. And this is a human value, because here when we are talking about, reciprocating to Baba, it's not even about, doing something selflessly. Baba says, you receive the return of whatever you do. Even one step you take on Shrimad, you receive the return of that. And don't you experience that? One day you do Amrit Vela, you feel the difference between that day and another day you sleep. Or you feel the difference between when you keep your mind engaged in the reading and the churning of the Murli, and you feel the difference between doing that and keeping your mind and intellect busy in worldly matters. You receive the return, instant happiness and power. Baba says that whatever you do according to Shrimad is not selfless. It is very, very, inclined in self-interest. And if we are having this enlightened self-interest, then we understand that whatever we do according to Shrimad, we are receiving the instant fruit of that. And of course, we are also receiving the long-term fruit, that is, we will receive the kingdom of heaven because of what we do on Baba's Shrimad. So the first thing is, am I just taking the palna from Baba and not doing anything about it? Just think about a parent who gives everything to the child, and the child turns out to not, turns out to be, like he doesn't pay attention to the parent's palna, and he doesn't turn out to be the best version of what he could be. Then how does the parent feel? Yes, the parent feels like, everything went to waste. Or think about a teacher who teaches every day and then the student doesn't imbibe. Would you like to be that kind of a teacher? No, that's not a good experience. So just think about Baba. Baba is the father, Baba is the teacher, Baba is the Satguru, and what not is Baba doing for us? Who would teach us every day? Who would nurture us every day like Baba? But are we paying attention to Baba's teachings? Are we imbibing what Baba says? Or are we sleeping at Amrit Vela, and are we not remembering the Murli, or we are just listening to the Manthan but not doing anything about it? Or are we just listening to the power of purity but not even taking the first step to experiment with it? And you see, there was a brother and he was in connection with the BKs for very long, and then he told me that he never tried having pure food. He told me that I never attempted having pure food. I just have this mental block that I can't have food without onion and garlic. So I told him, you are taking palna from Baba, and every day Baba is inspiring you and telling you about the power of purity, whether it is about food or celibacy or other stuff. And if you don't even experiment with it, it is such a disregard for Baba's teachings. But you see, and then Baba tells us that we are being sustained by the yajna. This yajna, this whole, in this yajna, so many brothers and sisters have given their life, given their everything, and this yajna is being sustained. And if we do not participate in any seva, if we are not, with our body, mind and wealth, we are not contributing to any seva, then we are not even able to, give back to that whom we are taking everything from. And just think about, you see, even if we are not even adhering to human values, then will we even receive the fortune that a human being deserves, let alone the fortune of a deity? But can we even receive the fortune that a human being is entitled to? This is why, basic amenities like clean drinking water and food and air, these things are something that a human being deserves. But no human being is having access to these things also. Even nature has become a means of bringing sorrow to humans, whereas you see the nature was designed to serve humans. Why? Because we don't even follow human values in this. And then you see, I was just thinking about, basic things like the ability to listen. The divine virtues are big things, but do we even have human values like the ability to listen? If somebody is telling you something, or somebody is talking to you, do you even listen before you speak, or do you just speak? That's a very big quality that is lacking these days, and everybody is so full of themselves that we don't even listen. We are not concerned about what the person wants to speak or hear. We are just concerned about what I want to tell that person. But if the person doesn't feel heard, how will they hear you? So, that's how it works. If you feel heard, you hear. If you don't feel heard, you never hear. And you see, we are doing this to our own children. And when children talk to us, we are just interested in shutting them up. And we say, you don't talk, you just listen. But if you don't listen, how will they listen to you? So these are basic human values, and there are other human values also, like just keeping the place you live in clean, or not filling it with good vibrations, let alone filling the whole world with good vibrations, but at least keeping the environment in which you live clean and full of good vibrations. I remember when we were growing up, our parents used to be very interested in igniting some incense in the house, or some kind of aroma in the house, so that it just made sure there were good vibrations. Of course, they didn't know better. They did not know that thoughts create the vibrations of the environment, but they did it in their own way. And now we are listening to Gyan, but do we take care of our immediate vibrations also? Or do we even take care of, not even Mansa Seva, but do I take care of, in a very selfish way, keeping my mind stable? Because I think, the ability to take that teaching from Baba, which makes the quality of my life better, is a very human thing. It's a very selfish thing. It's not about giving. But I don't know if we are capable of even that these days, because Baba is telling us all the methods through which our mind, our bodies, our environments will be recharged and will be peaceful and pure. But are we even paying attention to those directions? Because this is not about, and you see, there was this one brother, and he was a Kumar, and he told me that I cannot get up in the morning, I cannot sit in silence, I am all the time worked up, and I told him, if you keep saying this to yourself, then what will you become? You will not become peaceful or pure or happy. You will become more and more tired. So you don't have to do this for me, you have to do this for yourself. that you stop talking negatively to yourself. But are we even, with a very selfish mind also, are we able to focus on what's good for me? Or are we able to take the Shrimad that Baba gives us and do it for ourselves? So, whether it is about following Baba's directions, I am not talking about world seva also. I am just talking about, basic reciprocation that Baba is giving us so much palna, so we have to do something in return, or basic, this sense that Baba is here and he is giving us such wonderful teachings. So, why not just use Baba and take advantage of these teachings and make my life better? So, this is a very human value, but I think that is the first step where we need to start. And then Baba talks about divine values or divine virtues, and before that there is a question, दीदी अगर बहू पति ससुर सास और घर के सभी बड़ों की हर बात काटे, फैमिली वैल्यूज़ और रिस्पेक्ट को डिनाई करे, तब क्या करें? रीज़न इज शी इज़ नॉट इंटरेस्टेड and her own way is her life. See, whatever she does, you maintain your sanity. That's something you have to do for yourself. You see, when we talk about family, the brick of a family, or the foundation of a family, or the unit of a family is every individual. So, I think, instead of thinking about how the family is, you think about your own mind, and whatever she is doing, or whatever she is, however she is behaving according to her sanskars, you have this interest that I will maintain my sanity, my peace despite everything. And whenever you talk to another family member, just give this, share this gyan with them, that you have to maintain your sanity. Because you see, if you keep, I will tell you one thing, there was this one brother, and he told me that he had a lot of issues with his wife, and then they fought and fought and fought. And then he fought so much that after his wife left, he was not in a state to gather his life. He left his job, he just roamed like a nomad, and he was just, not himself. And at that time he came to the center, and then he told me that I fought so much with my wife for 10 years that now I cannot stop fighting with myself, because that's my sanskar now. And all day I am in my mind fighting with myself, fighting with other people, and I cannot stop that. So just think about, even about when we talk about the daughter-in-law or somebody, they will be here for, I don't know whether a short time or a long time with you. But you have to maintain your sanity, and you have to live your life, and you have to think about your future. So just keep your self-interest, and spirituality is, so I think the first definition of spirituality is enlightened self-interest. The second definition is selflessness. But if you are not selfish in an enlightened way, if you can't take Baba's teachings and reciprocate humanly to Baba's, Baba's palna, then you cannot go to the next stage of being selfless and being a deity. So first thing is, you understand that you have to do it for yourself, because in the old world, there's a very wrong definition of selfless that we have learnt, and we have camouflaged our attachments and our greed as selflessness. and we are trying to tell that I care about the other person more than myself, but that's because I am more attached to the other person because I have no knowledge or care for the self. And that's why you think that you're caring for the other person, but you're being selfish in the wrong way. You're caring about yourself, but you're doing it in the wrong way, so that is leaving you emptier and emptier. And but if you just took care of yourself first and then took care of the other, that would not be selfless, that would be an extension of self care. So these are the things that Baba corrects for us. So what I was trying to tell you today is that start with human values. Human values means me first, and then human value means reciprocity, give and take. So first take from Baba the palna that he is giving, imbibe what Baba is giving you because that's good for you. Baba has come from the soul world for me, and I must have the sense and sensibility, and I must have the human sense at least to imbibe that and take care of myself. And then human value also means that you give back to Baba, because that's very human, that human beings should not keep and keep, they should also give back. So whether it is about being participant in the yajna, and there was this one sister, she told me something very nice. She told me that I do not do yajna seva because I think that I am responsible for the whole world. I do yajna seva because Baba is giving me so much that it is my duty to give back. And I am just giving back whatever I can in this Kali-yugi state to Baba for his palna. I am not even telling that I have a big heart and I am doing yajna seva. If you think about it like that also, then also you will earn that punya karma of seva. So Baba tells us about these things. Then Baba tells us about divine virtues. And first divine virtue is purity. But let me tell you that divine virtues emerge from soul consciousness, and you see the foundation of divine virtues is knowledge and yoga, because without knowledge and yoga we can't have the divine virtue of purity. Now why can't we have the divine virtue of purity without knowledge and yoga? Because in our old awareness we have no idea of what purity means. Baba comes and gives us the knowledge. What is the knowledge? The knowledge is of four things. The knowledge is who am I, who is Baba. The knowledge is about the beginning, middle and end of the world, and the knowledge is about our aim and objective. So these are the four aspects of knowledge. Now when you listen to the knowledge, you understand that purity is your original nature. Did science or scriptures tell you that purity is your original nature? Nobody told you, because everybody tells you that lust and ego and competition and survival is your original nature. But Baba comes and tells us that purity is my original nature, and even though I have lost that capacity to a considerable extent, because the law says that if you don't use it, you lose it, but that there is another law that if you pay attention, it grows. So Baba says you have to, with the power of yoga, and yoga entails the first step as being soul conscious. So if you sit in the awareness that I am a soul and I am pure, then the purity in you starts to emerge. And I will tell you, I have had this experience that you just sit with a hypothesis that I am a pure soul, and the longer you sit with this thought, the more you come to the realization of what it means to be pure. And it is such an internal process that when you sit in silence with this thought that I am a pure soul and I want to experience what purity is like, and you start thinking about it, you get the taste of, you get the glimpse of, or the taste of what purity feels like as a soul. And this is how Baba tells us that knowledge and yoga bring you back to the realization of purity. And I will tell you, when I came to Baba in the very early years, immediately when I came to Baba, after maybe 6 months or something, there was a situation which was almost like a storm in my life. And in that situation, I felt like it is impossible to not get affected. But then I used to just sit in yoga in the morning and just think about the fact that I'm a pure soul, and the quality of purity is like the quality of a lotus. And I have this ability to stay within the storm but not get affected by the storm, just like the lotus. And I used to do this for at least 2 hours in the morning. And I used to just invoke this sense of purity where I can live in this world by staying unaffected and doing my thing as a response to whatever situations I'm in. And I could garner that capacity to live with purity at that time. And this is why I'm telling you that when you sit in meditation, and the first step of meditation is soul consciousness, because you can only remember Baba or feel Baba's presence when you are soul conscious. So even when you sit with this idea, with this knowledge that I am a pure soul, you can feel the essence and the power of purity that's latent within you, and you can feel it in an emerged state. So that's purity. Then second thing Baba tells us is, my Baba is the ocean of purity. And you see, Baba lives in the soul world, but he comes and acts in this old world. Why? Because he wants us to see how purity feels like in action. Yes, so you just think about how many years the ocean of purity has played his part on this world of impurity. And just think about, has it changed Baba? Yes, how much did we change from our childhood to our adulthood? And we said it's the contamination that happens when you live in an impure world. But just think about 75, 78 years Baba has been around, and now it's almost close to 90 years. It's 88 years now that Baba has been around, and in all this time, Baba never got affected by the impurity of the world. Did Baba get affected by anybody's attachment? Did Baba get affected by anybody's lust? Or did Baba get affected by anybody's anger? Or did Baba get affected by anybody's betrayal? Just think about how many children left Baba. Yes, did Baba say, you left me with a broken heart? And I am in trauma and I can't take care of the children anymore because I feel very betrayed and broken in my heart. Baba never said that. And if you just think about Baba and how he has been doing his work for the last 90 years without getting a, now 88, not 90, but 88 is a big time, and how he has never got affected by anything that happened with the old world, and even with his own children, we children who Baba comes for and does so much for us, he never gets affected even by us and our actions and our states and our behaviors. He never gets affected by that. So just think about Baba. And there was this one sister, and she once told me that there were some children and her own children, and they started abusing her, and they started misbehaving with her. And then she said, I have lost so much interest that I don't feel like taking care of children anymore. And there's one child of mine who is still well behaved, but I always have this thought he will also do the same thing in future, and I don't tend to take care of my children anymore. But then I told her, just think about how Baba takes care of his children, and how many children betray Baba. But Baba never loses his love or hope or faith or anything. And that's how detached and loving Baba is. And we also have to be detached and loving, just like Baba. So Baba says that when you remember Baba by consciously thinking about his qualities, and then think that you are also like Baba, and you are also having the same qualities. And when you think about yourself like that, you will imbibe those qualities. So Baba says that remember me, the ocean of purity, and that's the method to be pure. Then remember your whole cycle, how you are pure in your original state and how you are pure in Satyug. So in Satyug there is love but no vices. So just think about that and you will emerge your purity. And then think about your aim, that you have to go back to that world, so that will help you to be pure. So with knowledge and yoga, I have to imbibe that quality of purity now, so that I can transition into the world of purity. Om Shanti.